Eggleston. Thank you. Keep it going for Dan, everybody. How's it going? Are we drinking tonight?
Yes.
Yes. Very good. Okay. I don't know. I'm trying to slow down on drinking just because I'm getting older and I feel like that's what you're supposed to do. But I don't know. Because of that, I'm starting to miss a lot of things I would do after a night of drinking in my early 20s. One of my favorite things after a night of drinking used to be to just run home while drunk. A couple people, okay, will back me up on this. There was just something about 1, 2 a.m. coming home from the bar. Like I said, I loved doing it, but you know who did not love it was any woman on my path. No other way to put it, they think their night just took a turn for the worse. I'm a man, I'm trying to learn and get better, and if there is one thing I've learned about women, it is that they do not like it when you sprint at them. Full speed with a glazed over look in your eyes. They freak out. Women, am I right? I don't know, I am getting older, so I'm trying to slow down on things. I just turned 30 years old, and I didn't think being 30 years old would be this embarrassing all the time. Every task in my life now is so demeaning when it doesn't have to be. Even the small stuff like buying deodorant now. I go to Walgreens and they lock up the deodorant, so I have to go ask some teenager for permission to smell nice this month. And we'll go over to the deodorant and they'll unlock and be like, okay, and which one do you want me to get for you? And I have to rack my brain for the most adult way to say the one with the wolf on it. It's I'm a grown man. Why are my only choices either swag or a wild animal? I still buy condoms as a 30-year-old, and that's embarrassing enough. I don't know. Are we condom wearers in the crowd? That truly would have been less embarrassing if you all just called me a loser one by one. I don't know, even condoms, they are not marketed towards the 30-year-old. All condoms are marketed towards men who barely know what sex is. All of them are ribbed for her pleasure. It's what dumb guy out there is man, I've been having sex with all these women and they haven't been having any pleasure at all. Sometimes I think it might be me, but you know what the problem? I wasn't getting the one with the damn ribs on. I am but a humble conduit for these ribs. I don't know where the clit is, and I refuse to learn. That is a job for the ribs. I don't know. I still wear condoms. I'll say this about condoms. You know how they sell hot dogs in packs of 8, but hot dog buns in packs of 6? So why do they sell condoms in packs of 3 when it takes me 4 tries to get the damn thing on? I don't know. I do still wear condoms because I am very nervous about consequences. I don't want to have a child or get an STD. And I get it, STDs are a very normal fact of life. I have friends who have STDs, and I'll be honest, I treat them worse because of that. Okay, yeah, one of us lived college to the fullest. Well, one of us played the long game. One of us doesn't have to start all of our first dates by breaking bad news. I just bought my tickets to go home for the holidays and already dreading it. I don't know. All the time when I'm home, I don't know how to relate to my parents. So what we default to doing is just trying to watch movies together. And it becomes this game of do my parents enjoy any movie that has come out this year? And so I'll pull one up and be okay, this one won an Oscar. Let's see if Danny and Anita like it. And then we'll sit and silently watch Oppenheimer for 90 minutes until my mom just stands up midway through and says, I don't appreciate what he's about to do to those people. That was on me. Why did I choose that? I don't know, I'm always trying to strike the balance between how much my mom is going to hate the movie and how quickly my dad is going to fall asleep. And every movie I pull up, he's like, this doesn't even have Robert Redford in it. I'm going to bed. I don't know. Like, sometimes I like try to show my parents these pieces of art that affected me, and they're just so unmoved by it. You know? I wonder if my parents have the same experience in reverse, where like they show me things that matter to them, and I'm not quite picking up on it. Like maybe, you know, when my dad goes to bed over the holidays, he's like, I have shown Jonah every episode of NCIS. Tried showing him Chicago Med, Chicago PD, Chicago Fire. What's it take to get through to this kid? It's like, you know, Dad, we could just talk, right? No, you're right, that's a stupid idea. Why would we do that? I don't know, I am going home for the holidays. I always have such a bad time there. I'm from a very small town. I'm from West Virginia. I'm from one of those small towns that's like very obsessed with freedom and the idea of freedom, you know? They're very obsessed with freedom, but they also only go to 4 places, you know? It's church, Walmart, Applebee's, home. It's like, you are trapped in a box. Is that freedom? I don't know, like there are different types of freedom in my town versus Chicago. Like in my town, truly, you could carry a gun through Walmart and nobody would bat an eye. And I'll give you that. I cannot do that in Chicago. But I don't know. There are things in Chicago I can do that I could never do in my hometown. Like in Chicago, I can read a book in the park without being called gay. And isn't that like a more impactful form of freedom to me personally? Yeah. I don't know, maybe they're free to like park their diesel truck wherever they want, but I'm free to not have to know the price of diesel. Quite frankly, I don't even know what it is. My brain is free for other more important information, like what coffee shops have free Wi-Fi, or whatever. I don't know, I get very anxious anytime I'm in my hometown. I think it's because I'm from one of those like wooded areas that just looks like a scary movie. You know? Like it looks where an axe murderer would be. And you could not have an axe murderer in Chicago. If there was an axe murderer in Chicago, he would immediately be illuminated by a 24-hour vape shop. I'm not going to be afraid of that guy. Okay, you guys know how, you know how everybody in college has a gay experience, right? I don't know, I had a gay experience in college. In college, my gay experience was that somebody told me Beyonce had given birth to twins, and I clapped. Not even like a normal clap. I was like, good for her. As soon as it came, hey, you know, college is a time for experimentation. And as soon as I did it, I was like, this unlocked a new part of me. I'm not quite going to reconcile this for the next decade of my life. I was told that I dress poorly recently. Not directly, but I did go to Buffalo Exchange, and they let me know. Do you guys know what Buffalo Exchange is?
Yeah.
Okay, for those of you who don't, it's this store where you can go sell your old clothes so that someone younger and hotter can wear them. But that's not their main goal, that's not what they aim to do. Their main objective is to just provide a safe space for women with septum piercings to bully you. And listen, I like that as much as the next guy. Maybe more than the next guy, honestly. But I walked in there with a full trash bag full of clothes, and while they were going through them, they held up one of my shirts, called over all the other employees. They all laughed and threw it in a pile. Which, you know, is not how you want to be treated when you hope to earn money. I sat there and I took it like a good little boy. And, I don't know, eventually they go through all my clothes and they have this huge pile in front of them, and they're like, hey, we can offer you $4 for this. And they're almost offended for you. They look at the huge pile and they're like, I sure hope you didn't pay more than $4 for this. Like, I paid $5 to park, man. But you know, you can't put up a fight, because as embarrassing as it is to get that $4 offer, it is so much more demeaning when you take them up on it. To be a guy who dresses poorly and could use $4 right now, not a good look. But anyway, I take my little ticket and get my $4, and I go over to the cashier, and they do give me my $4 in quarters. It's like, is the cruelty part of this? But again, you can't say anything. You just have to bag up all the clothes they didn't take and leave, and they try to like raise your hopes on the way out to be like, no, we had a nice interaction today, because you're leaving, and they're like, hey kid, wait. Yeah? Kill yourself. Don't worry, I will. I'll leave you guys on this. I was out at a restaurant the other day, and when I say restaurant, it was a Burger King. But when I was in this restaurant, a mother loudly threatened to spank her kids. And I don't know how we feel about spanking. Like, are we for it, against it?
Depends.
Hate it. Depends. I'm not here to preach about whether it's good or bad, but I did take issue with the way she threatened to do it. Because she threatened to do it by saying, Bobby, you're begging to get your cheeks clapped. Which is gross. That's his mom. If it was his stepmom, okay. Keep it going for Dan, everybody.
I gotta say, a little hurtful to hear Buffalo Exchange rip on a guy's clothes who's wearing the exact same outfit as me. That was